All right, Donald Trump has been sending out some batshit crazy tweets about the election integrity of the United States. And this is getting worse than we could have possibly imagined, because not only are they trying to rewrite the story of 2020 in front of our eyes, we've been fighting against that with the actual facts of what happened. We've been fighting relentlessly against that. But now they are trying to muddy the waters of future elections, and they're laying the groundwork to control the outcomes. I'm not somebody who rings this alarm over and over or rings this alarm without reason. They are actively trying to steal both the 2026 midterms, the 2028 election, and then have control beyond that. And we need to be putting our foot in the ground, planting the flag in the sand, whatever you want to say, right now. Let's start with a recent piece of evidence coming from Trump 3 days ago. He said, ask former President Barack Hussein Obama whether or not he really believes in 2020 Joe Biden got 15 more million votes than he did in 2012. This can be explained due to the fact that COVID had everybody uniquely engaged in politics because people were staying home, paying attention to Trump's terrible handling of this. Yes, the population grew and more people turned out. It is not fraud. Then, Trump says, additionally, ask him why Joe Biden beat Obama in every single swing state with the black vote in 2020, even though the black voters hate him. Obviously, the black voters don't hate him at the end of the day. But in no other state, the 2020 election was an illegal scam/hoax. This is the president of the United States pushing election fraud lies. Trump continues to tweet out last night. This is another piece of evidence that is more recent. I mean, there's a lot of evidence, but this is recent. He says, just in, documents show conclusively that Christopher Wray, deranged Jack Smith, Merrick Garland, Lisa Monaco, and other crooked lowlifes from the failed Biden admin signed off on Operation Arctic Frost. They spied on senators and congressmen and women. They cheated and rigged the 2020 election. Midas Touch points out, wow, very impressive for all of them to do this in 2020. While Trump was still in power, he was the president, and they weren't even in the government. Jack Smith was not a special appointee then because that didn't happen until 2023. This is insane. The president of the United States doesn't know anything. Mehdi Hassan points out there is literally nothing. Nothing Biden said, did, gaffed, misspoke, misremembered, nothing. Not even that car crash debate that comes close to this level of derangement and proud detachment from reality. Again, the president is spreading lies about the last election, using people that weren't even in power. But it gets so much worse. Do you guys remember Mike Lindell, the crazy MyPillow guy, who I actually debated early on in my career in Wisconsin? It was one of my most popular videos, but we made a lot of progress since then. We're no longer debating crazy MyPillow guys. But this dude was the most deranged of the deranged, spreading election fraud lies, bankrupting himself over and over, hopping from lawsuit to lawsuit to spread election fraud lies. And, you know, now people that surrounded Mike Lindell, some of his closest friends, the most deranged people in politics, are now leading the election integrity division for Trump. Trump just hired Kurt Olson, who is a lawyer that tried to nullify the 2020 election results on behalf of Texas. He said, like, he was from Texas, and he asked the Supreme Court to just throw out votes from all of the states that Trump lost. So incredibly deranged that they didn't even entertain it. He spent years pushing this Stop the Steal thing, and I spent so much time arguing against this and arguing against January 6th. By the way, we have a new debate show.
So her own family hit her. Put some pressure on her father's business. I want to teach.
Dropping tomorrow. And we debate about January 6th, Charlie Kirk, all of that. Here's a little sneak peek. Take a look. This is someone who constantly escalates the rhetoric and is calling Democrats vile vermin, enemy from within, fascist, communist.
But what are they calling Trump, though? They're calling him Hitler. They're calling him a Nazi.
J.D. Vance is calling him Hitler?
But he took
Which other
responsibility.
Democrat?
But that's what I'm saying. You're not letting me finish, Adam. Come on. Left
rhetoric? We'll get to that in one second. But when it comes to J6, Donald Trump, before the 2020 election even happened, said it was going to be stolen. He said over and over and over, this is going to be a rigged election. Then, on election night, he took the stage and declared victory when only 50% of the votes were counted. Then, a few months later, he asked certain electors to overturn their slate of electors, and then all of this basically culminated into him saying, be there on January 6th. If you want to be there for the debate release, make sure you're subscribed to the feed with post notifications on. Make sure you check back tomorrow. But Donald Trump hired this guy as a special employee. Let's read this. It's so incredibly deranged because a former Trump campaign lawyer who tried to overturn the 2020 election is now rejoining the administration to investigate the 2020 election and voting-related issues going forward. They are trying to relitigate the 2020 election now that Trump is in office, and it's honestly the worst possible reality. We need to make sure we say over and over, Donald Trump took 62 different cases to different courts. He lost every single one. After he lost those court cases, he had to just rely on people like Rudy Giuliani, crackpots around him. Mike Pence repeatedly said, hey, dude, the election wasn't stolen. Mike Pence repeatedly came up to Trump and said, the election was not stolen from you. We lost. Donald Trump didn't like that, so much so that his followers were then yelling, hang Mike Pence, while Mike Pence was certifying the election results. It is batshit stuff. We talk about this in the debate that's coming out tomorrow, but now Trump is appointing more loyalists across the entire administration. And listen to this. The Department of Justice is preparing to send federal election observers to California and New Jersey next month, targeting 2 Democratic states holding off year elections following requests from the state Republican parties. There are even legitimate fears that they are going to mobilize the National Guard or declare a national emergency, for example. Officials plot to have Trump declare national emergency in 2026, raising fears he may hijack the next election. I am not trying to do this to stir fear or chaos. I am not somebody who does that or tries to draw up conspiracy theories. Never in my channel have I reported something that is a conspiracy theory. This is all absolutely true. The Justice Department under Trump has been demanding specific voter data from swing states that Biden won. States like Arizona or Pennsylvania or Georgia, and they're claiming it's for transparency. Now, Pritzker has been reporting this. Other governors have been reporting this. But what it really is a hunt for ammunition to justify voter purges, to justify challenges in 2026, and they're even building tasks of election observers for blue states, as I was just reading. Let's continue to read this right here because Trump is getting increasingly deranged with this election stuff. The department announced it was planning to monitor polling sites in Passaic County, New Jersey, and 5 counties in Southern and Central California, Los Angeles, Orange County, Kern County, Riverside, and Fresno. The goal, according to this department, is to, quote, ensure transparency, ballot security, and compliance with federal law. Check this out. Kyle Klinsky points out, so Trump is, number one, aggressively gerrymandering. I mean, that's the most severe and most immediate election fraud that we're seeing coming up. In the 2026 midterms, they're trying to create new seats out of thin air in the mid-census. But Trump is, number one, aggressively gerrymandering. 2, he signed an executive order to have DOJ oversee elections. Number 3, he's mandating all state voting data to be given to the feds. Number 4, he's appointing 2020 election deniers in key positions. And this is on top of Dominion voting systems being sold out to a MAGA hack. They are going for it. He is empowering election deniers in the government to go and rewrite history, and we need to be crystal clear about that. If you support our venture to push back against the lies, you can subscribe below. We are pushing towards 2 million followers. You know, I might make an entire video, like an hour video, just focusing on debunking the election fraud stuff so that the American people can understand the truth. If you want that, let me know in the comment section below. I love you all. Peace out.
You are right that our country